All right, what's going on YouTube? This is Boxing Wave, man. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also hit that thumbs up if you enjoy the content. All right, so we're going to talk about Wilder. Should he retire? You know, a lot of people are already suggesting that he should just retire. You know, he's coming off two back-to-back stoppage losses where he took a lot of damage from Tyson Fury. You know, he is going to be 36 in a couple weeks. And people are just suggesting that he should retire, he's people just think that he's damaged goods at this point. According to Malik Scott, Wilder has broken his right hand again. He's broken it in the past. All right. And Malik Scott did a exclusive video interview with ES News where he said that Wilder broke his hand in this fight. Okay. He's also had he was bleeding from his mouth. And I seen that he was cut around the ear area where he was bleeding before in the second fight. And it's part of the reason why Mark Breland said he stopped the fight. All right. Not sure, the details. I don't know the details of the injury. If we find out, I can address it later. But Wilder took a beating in this fight. All right. He took a beating. He took a beating in the last fight. And people are suggesting that he's just not the same. They're saying that his legs don't look the same. And all of this stuff. I did address a lot of it. I do think that it has to do a lot with the weight, the extra weight, right? He's been his heaviest his last two fights. He's been fighting over 230 in his last two fights. And a lot of his weight is going straight to the upper body. Okay, I'm not sure. I'm not saying he didn't work on his legs. I'm sure that he was, I'm sure he was squatting. I'm sure he was doing exercises that involved his legs, all right, but visibly he looks stronger, bigger up top. His legs still look the same, and I think that's part of the reason why his legs doesn't look the same, because he's a heavier dude, and plus he was forced to fight going backwards, which he can't do so well. All right, but look, should he retire? Well, first of all, I think Wilder should rest up. That's what Malik Scott said. He told him not to do anything boxing related for a while. Rest up, recover, and, just take some time off. You decide whether or not if you want to go. If you don't have the ambition to continue boxing, then don't, But if you do and you still want to become champion again in the future, come back, return, or if you just want to make some more money, come back. You have a name, and there's still other fights that's out there that people like myself still want to see. You lost to Tyson Fury twice. Okay, I get it. You had the trilogy. It was a great trilogy. We had a fun time watching it and stuff, but it's over now. So are you going to retire, or are you going to come back and give us some more fights that we still want to see? I don't know about everybody else, but me personally, I still want to see the Anthony Joshua fight. I'm still cool with seeing the Andy Ruiz fight, or just seeing him fight, period. But if he's not going to be at his best at this current stage of his career, don't return. But in order to figure that out, we have to see him back in the ring. Me personally, I think it's a big thing if he does return, to lay off the weights. All right. I'm not saying he has to replace Malik Scott. What I'm saying is work on what you were doing, because what you were doing was fine, but he needs to go back to what the Wilder that we knew, the lighter Wilder, the more agile Wilder, the quicker Wilder, the athletic Wilder, not the slow, heavy Wilder that we seen in the last two fights. A lot of people want to blame it on cheating allegations and stuff. I think it has a lot to do with preparation, the fact that he came in heavier, all right, and didn't have any fights in between to work out those new muscles, okay? So me personally, I think it was a mistake for him to come heavy, especially against a heavier, much bigger man. I thought that was a bad call. But as far as what they were training and preparing to do, I think we need to get a little bit of both. Okay, if Wilder does return, I think we need to get the old Wilder as far as his size. But I also think we need to get a new Wilder as far as preparation, as far as the combos that we were getting, the setups that we were getting, the counters that we were getting. You know, not just the same right hand over and over. You know, I like the body shots that we were seeing. You know, I like the hooks. I like the jabs to the body. I like what Wilder was doing. It's just that he was a bigger, heavier, stiffer man. You know, and he didn't perform as well as I think he could. All right. So in my opinion, if he is to return, we can still get fights. Now, I'm not expecting an AJ fight right away. I'm not expecting even an Andy Ruiz fight on his first fight back. You know, but if he does come back, there's a long list of heavyweights that's still around that he can fight on his first fight back. You know, I wouldn't fight, you know, I mean, look, I named earlier, I would still love to see a Dillian White fight. I would love to see a Joseph Parker fight. I would love to see a Michael Hunter fight. You know, I would love to see a Derek Chisora fight. You know, but if he is to come back in his first fight back, you know, maybe he should fight, you know, Robert Helenius. I know he was just training with him, but guys on that level, you know, guys that's on that level where, you know, he's more likely to win the fight. You know, it's a good prep for him to fight, take a bigger challenge later on. You know, maybe a Christian Hammer. And Christian Hammer wouldn't be a bad fight. A Carlos Takam wouldn't be a bad fight. You know, Trevor Bryan, I know he's a WBA like world champion or something, but that would be a good fight. You know, a Marius Wack would be a good fight. Emmanuel Char would be a good fight. You know, a Jonathan Rice would be a good fight. You know, these are not up and coming guys. These are guys that's been around, and he just want to get the work in. You know, a Carlos Negron. You know, not really that. Maybe not that, but maybe a Dave Allen. You know, these are guys that you want to fight coming back. I suggest he cuts down on the weight, but keep working with Malik Scott and doing what he was doing. But cut down in the weight. He's too heavy. He's too heavy. Wilder shouldn't be fighting no more than 225. You know, he needs to be light, he needs to be quick, and he needs to work. He needs to continue to work on his cardio. That's if he comes back. But it really depends on what he wants to do. You know, if he wants to retire and he's good where he's at, he's made enough money, and he said, you know what, I'm done with this sport. I don't have the ambition. I don't care. I did what I had to do. I have nothing else to prove. Then that's on him. But if he does come back, there's still many opportunities, including AJ, which could still be a big fight, especially if AJ doesn't beat Usyk in a rematch. There's still that big option there to make a lot of money. Him and AJ, you know, especially whether they fight in the UK, whether they fight here in America, they could still sell out an arena fighting each other. Even if Fury and Usyk goes to fight for Undisputed in the same year, there's still opportunities out there for Deontay Wilder. You know, I don't want to completely write him off. But, you know, maybe come back in one fight, have a tune-up. Maybe you don't look too good in that tune-up. Then you might decide, you know what, I'm going to hang it up. You know, if you're going to tune-up, just like J-Rock. J-Rock just came back from like a 19-month layoff. Right? Lost to a journeyman. You know? If you're losing like that, then maybe you might have to consider retirement if you're a guy like Wilder, you know. But if you come back, you catch a win or two on your way back. You get a couple of knockouts on your tune-ups. You look good. You and Malik Scott got a good thing going. Then keep fighting. Maybe you could get one more huge payday with AJ or with Andy Ruiz, depending on where they're gonna be at that point. All right, but it really depends on him, and that's all. That's all I have to really say. You know, the Tyson Fury thing is done. It's over. The trilogy is over. There's no need for a fourth fight at this point. We talked about a fourth fight before the fight, but after, you know, Fury winning, we really don't need one at this point. All right, let me just turn my alarm off. All right, so yeah, that's how I feel about that. It really depends. It really all depends. All right. So hopefully he can recover well, you know, and hopefully I would still like to hear from him at some point. You know, I want to hear what he has to say about the loss. I know he doesn't, I know he didn't embrace Fury in any kind of way. He said, he didn't shake his hand and stuff, but I still want to hear what he has to say about that loss. I'm sure eventually we'll hear something from Wilder, or maybe he'll give one of the other YouTube channels an exclusive at some point. All right, so I think I said everything I needed to say about Deontay Wilder at this point, and that's it. All right, so I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm out. Peace.